What would you do if you woke up one day and realized you've been living someone else's dream, not your own? If everything you thought you were working toward turned out to be meaningless? This is the story of a man named Noah, a man who had everything: money, a career, admiration. But one conversation, on an unexpected day, made him question everything. This is the story of how Noah learned the most important lesson of his life. Don't waste your life. Noah Davis was a 38-year-old investment banker in New York City. His life looked perfect from the outside: penthouse apartment, luxury car, designer suits, and a watch that cost more than most people's rent. He was respected, even feared. But he was also tired. Deeply, painfully tired. Every day felt the same. Meetings, deadlines, deals, clients, celebrations that meant nothing. He didn't know it yet, but he was slowly dying inside, one paycheck at a time. Every morning, he poured himself a coffee, scrolled through the news, and tried not to think about how empty he felt. He had friends, but not real ones. He had family, but rarely saw them. He had goals, but no joy. He thought, maybe next year. Maybe after the next bonus. Maybe then I'll take a break. One Thursday morning, Noah had a client meeting scheduled with an older man named Samuel Lee. Samuel had sold his company for $200 million and was now focused on philanthropic investments. The meeting was short. Samuel listened politely, then said something Noah didn't expect. "Noah, you're brilliant. But why are you still doing this?" Noah replied, "I don't follow." Samuel responded, "You're chasing money like it's going to fill something. Trust me. It won't. I've had everything. Then I almost died last year. That's when I realized. I wasted my life chasing numbers. I was rich, but I never lived." Noah laughed it off. But the words stuck. That night, for the first time in years, Noah sat in silence. No music. No TV. No phone. Just him, and a question echoing in his head. Am I wasting my life? Over the next few weeks, Noah began to change. Slowly. He started walking to work instead of taking a car. He looked at the faces of people on the street. He started noticing things: the laughter of children, the warmth of the sun, the smell of coffee from a street cart. He called his mom, really talked to her, for the first time in months. He visited his brother in Boston and met his niece for the first time. She hugged him like they'd known each other forever. He started reading books, ones about life, philosophy, meaning. He listened to podcasts, watched documentaries. He was waking up. One Sunday afternoon, Noah wandered into a park and saw a group of volunteers feeding the homeless. Something pulled at him. He asked if he could help. That day, he had real conversations for the first time in a long time, with people who had nothing, but smiled more than he did. One man, Frank, said, "You're lucky, man. You still got time. Most people don't realize what matters until it's too late." The changes didn't come without pain. Noah started missing deadlines at work. His boss warned him. His coworkers whispered. He didn't care. One day, during a high-stakes meeting, Noah froze. He looked at the spreadsheets, the graphs, the jargon, and felt nothing. He stood up and walked out. Just like that. He wandered the streets for hours. No phone. No purpose. Just thoughts. Tears came, real, heavy, uncontrollable. For the first time, he faced what he had been running from: The fact that he'd spent nearly 20 years chasing someone else's definition of success. He cried for the years he couldn't get back. For the friends he'd lost. For the love he'd never pursued. For the parts of himself he'd buried to win. That night, he made a decision: I won't waste what's left. Noah didn't disappear. But he started over. He took a sabbatical from his job. Eventually, he resigned. He moved to a smaller city, closer to his brother. He began writing stories, essays, journals. He started mentoring young men from low-income communities, teaching them financial literacy and life skills. He traveled. Not to five-star resorts, but to villages, schools, mountains. He learned to cook. He made real friends. He fell in love with a woman who loved who he was, not what he had. Most of all, he found peace. Noah's story isn't just about leaving a job. It's about waking up. Waking up to the truth that life isn't measured in promotions, paychecks, or possessions. It's measured in moments of connection, joy, courage, and meaning. The saddest truth is that many people live the same year over and over again and call it a life. They're waiting. Waiting for the right time. Waiting for retirement. Waiting for permission. But here's the secret. The right time is now. Because time is the one thing we never get back. And every day spent living out someone else's definition of success is a day lost from the story you were meant to write. So ask yourself, what do you love? What makes your heart beat faster? Who do you want to become? Maybe it's calling someone you've been meaning to forgive. Maybe it's picking up that guitar that's been gathering dust. Maybe it's leaving that job that's draining your soul. Or simply, slowing down, so you can feel your life again. It won't always be easy. Changing direction never is. People might not understand. But your life is not a group project. It's your journey. Your canvas. Your one shot. Because in the end, it's not the things we did that haunt us, it's the things we didn't do. The words we never said. The dreams we never chased. The love we never gave. So, take the risk. Say what matters. Do what scares you. Love fully. Live deeply. Make it count. You've got one life. Don't waste it.